were some of the dolls you played with when you were little?
Honestly, I didn't have a lot of dolls because I didn't have dolls that really looked like me much, and that's why I kind of really wanted to make sure this was super intentional because now that they have a doll that looks like you and nails and hair, but also you can be a killer on the court as well. So that was something that was important for me when getting the doll.
Angel Reese finally has her own signature Barbie. That should be a positive story. A national champion, a WNBA star, being immortalized by one of the biggest toy brands in the world. But somehow, only Angel Reese can find a way to do this. Somehow. Even that became another racial grievance story. Angel Reese said, I didn't have a lot of dolls because I didn't have dolls that really looked like me much. One problem, Angel. Angel Reese was born in 2002. She's 24 years old. Mattel introduced Christie, widely regarded as its first original black doll, in 1968. The first doll, officially named Black Barbie, arrived in 1980. 22 years before Angel Reese was born. And here is the contradiction. Only days earlier, People, the magazine, reported that Reese said she was definitely a Barbie girl growing up. Are you laughing yet? So which story are we buying? Was she definitely a Barbie girl? Or did she barely play with dolls because none of them look like her? Nobody outside her family can prove which toys were in her home. So I am not calling that statement a confirmed lie. But the emotional marketing pitch is shaky. And it fits a pattern in which race becomes the hook for almost every Angel Reese story. Representation matters, as you can see on the screen. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 black Barbie dolls right there. 6. With afros, with long hair, with braids, with old school hairstyles. There's nothing wrong with Angel Reese wanting little black girls to see themselves in sports, fashion, and business. Having her own Barbie is a major accomplishment. The problem begins when a product launch is packaged as though a woman born in 2002 grew up in 1962. Her real story was already powerful. I loved Barbie. I became the Bayou Barbie. I became the Shy Barbie. And now I'm the ATL Barbie. And now I have a signature doll designed in my image. But apparently, that was not dramatic enough for Angel Reese. The story needed racial hardship attached to it. That is where representation starts looking like grievance branding. The Barbie comments come on the same night Reese delivered another example of why basketball fans find her behavior so cringe. Atlanta was down 21 points against Las Vegas. Reese drove into Stephanie Talbot, knocked her to the floor, appeared to brush Talbot's face with her elbow. Instead of an offensive foul, the whistle went against Talbot. Reese then stood over her, stared her down, and celebrated the and one. You're down 21, Angel. Let's take a look at this.
See it from Angel Reese, and overall for Atlanta, they are trying to find any gaps they can to power into the paint, and Reese does it right here with Talbot on her. She's trying to body into her, and she's the one who falls back off that play. Reese gets the and one opportunity, and
There's Angel Reese for you. You're down 21. Your team is getting smoked on your own Barbie night. Yet you're flexing over a defender after a play in which you may have committed the foul. Reese played well individually, but this isn't an individual sport. She had 23 points, 16 rebounds, but Atlanta got smoked. The scoreboard was screaming humiliation while Reese was performing as though she had hit a championship winner. That single play does not prove racial animus. Nobody can read her mind from a celebration, but her biggest theatrics repeatedly seem to arrive in moments involving white opponents, especially Caitlin Clark, because those confrontations generate the most attention. Go back to the moment that made Reese a household name. LSU beat Iowa for the 2023 National Championship. Reese was outstanding, even though she was the fourth best player on the court in that national championship game. Won Most Outstanding Player and earned the right to celebrate. But she followed Caitlin Clark near the end of the decided game, repeatedly gave her the "you can't see me" gesture, and pointed to her ring finger, which you can see right here. People debated whether it was competitive trash talk or excessive taunting. That was a legitimate basketball discussion. Reese turned the criticism into something racial. She said she did not fit the box people wanted her in, that she had been called too hood and too ghetto, and that she was standing up for girls who looked like her. To be fair, some of the reaction to Reese was unquestionably racialized and disgusting. Caitlin Clark herself defended Reese and said trash talk was part of basketball. But the formula of Angel Reese had been created. Create a provocative basketball moment. Receive predictable criticism. Reframe the criticism as an attack on black women. Sell the villain image while using identity as protection from the boos. That is an incredibly profitable position. Reese gets the attention of being the antagonist and the protection of being the victim all in the same time. In June 2026, Medina Okot blocked Caitlin Clark at the rim. It was Okot's play, but the audio caught Reese yelling, "Give me that!" toward Clark and celebrating as if she had made the block herself. Atlanta was still losing by 9 at halftime, and Reese had 4 points. Once again, the performance became bigger than the basketball because the opponent was Caitlin Clark. Take a listen.
Around the Hines Allen screen, Clark to the Okot.
She's showing us. Yeah.
Oh, that's so Angel Reese for you. Reese has said she and Clark do not hate each other, and that she has called Clark an amazing player. We should not event personal hatred that both players deny. But we all know that people deny stuff all the time just because they don't want to make a story out of it, when the reality is they don't care for each other. And it's perfectly all right to not care for somebody. It's just reality. Your words don't indicate your actions. Every time Caitlin Clark's name gets mentioned, Angel Reese gives a snare look. It just happened in the All-Star game. They mentioned her name, and while she's clapping, her name gets mentioned, and she stops clapping. The only person on camera who stopped clapping. Reese has also described death threats, stalking, and fake explicit AI images being sent to her family. That behavior is sick and indefensible. Albeit, her family should know that she's not posing nude, unless they don't. But condemning specific racists is different from turning Clark's enormous fan base into a racial storyline. Reese said that there was a lot of racism among Clark's fans, helping trap this rivalry inside a permanent black versus white narrative, not a basketball game. And to keep this honest, Reese also taunts black opponents, albeit not with the same energy and that she does with the white ones. And she quite often cowers down when dealing with a bigger, badder sister like Alyssa Thomas. We all remember. She hit the too small celebration after scoring over Odyssey Sims, a 5'8" guard. So the evidence does not prove she only targets white women, just women smaller than her. The stronger argument is that her confrontations with white stars receive the most theatrical energy and are repeatedly converted into racial narratives because that is where the biggest engagement lives. It's always racial with her. The Sandy Brondello controversy may be the clearest example. Brondello complained to the officials that Reese was a protected species. Reese immediately posted, "Are we surprised?" Tagged Brondello and added a clown emoji. Called the coach a clown. Can you imagine what would happen if another player did that? She later thanked the WNBA for acting and spoke about discrimination and hate. But Brondello is Australian, and protected species is a common Australian sports expression for a player believed to receive favorable treatment from officials. She was reacting to a foul call on Nayara Sabali, who was injured, not discussing Reese's race. Sabali is black. Woo! Brondello apologized for no reason, and the WNBA suspended her for 1 game for a non-racial comment. But Reese's immediate response encouraged the public to assume racial intent before considering the context. That is how the grievance machine works. Ambiguity is not examined. It is racialized and monetized. Angel Reese is not a basketball fraud. She's a national champion, an elite rebounder, and a legitimate star. That is why this strategy is so unnecessary. Representation is not the grift. Helping black girls see themselves is not the grift. Calling out documented racism is not the grift. The grift begins when race becomes the all-purpose shield, the explanation for every criticism, the emotional hook for every business story, and the shortcut that turns ordinary controversy into moral protection. On Barbie night, Reese scored 23 points and grabbed 16 rebounds. That should have been the story, even though they got skull drug. Instead, the lasting images were a questionable childhood narrative and Reese taunting Stephanie Talbot while Atlanta was getting their butt kicked on their home floor. So what do you think? Is Angel Reese sincerely promoting representation, or has racial grievance become the most valuable part of her brand? Drop y'all comments. Like the video. Hype the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channels, because you know we bring it real, raw, and uncut right here. This is Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.